soapbox on top of a president, on top of, well, everything. And that could be the problem. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto, and say this about President Obama. He thinks big. Healthcare reform, education reform, earmark reform, a lot of reforms, and that's just this week. The president says he's just laying out a map. But does he risk being all over the map? And worse, the president is the guy behind the wheel, refusing to stop and answer directions, or even take a look at the fuel gauge to discover the tank's empty. Now, to the folks who can provide some direction, Ben Stein and Dagan McDowell, Adam Lashinsky, Jared Levy joins us now. Also, Charles Payne. Charles, what do you think?
Absolutely. And I tell you, what bothers me a lot is he speaks to us as if we're little children or wayward disciples, and we have to be reminded that there's only one person with the answer. The bottom line is we know that the president can chew gum and walk at the same time, but what he's really doing is he's cramming a social agenda down our throat in the guise of economic recovery or help. All this other stuff that has nothing to do. It's all more the social welfare stuff, and he's using the whole smokescreen of the economy, and because we're smart enough to know that, he becomes offended.
Ben Stein, what do you think?
Well, when I think of his reform, I think it's about the level of sophistication of a Brooklyn ninth grader in 1936. I mean, it is extremely immature, shows very little understanding of history, shows very little understanding of what works in economics. Above all, shows very little respect for liberty and freedom. I am terribly worried about the freedoms he's taking away in the name of global warming. I'm terribly worried about the freedoms he's taking away in the name of reform. This country is about freedom, really, more than about entitlement. I'm afraid that's being lost sight of.
Dagan, my only issue is, regardless of your issues with the other reforms he's looking at, it's like he's trying to add a garage onto a house, right? Unaware that the other garage and the rest of the house is on fire. So try to deal with the fire in the house before you're adding to it.
His priority number one should be fixing the economy and fixing the financial mess that we've gotten into, and that's not what we're hearing from the administration. The bar was set very high, too, in terms of him being a communicator, and what we have here is a failure to communicate, to quote Cool Hand Luke. And that's exactly what's going on. And then it gets worse and worse. Like, stocks look like a potentially good deal, and sometimes the economy, things are better than they look or worse. They're never as good as they look. I mean, what is he talking about? Again, it just muddles. And then you throw in all these other priorities, and I don't know which way is up.